a longer offseason than we're used to here in New England, it's time to explore some potential quarterback candidates for the New England Patriots. And now we're going to talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm Mariah, Janos, joined by Evan Lazar. Evan, Ryan Fitzpatrick, it stunned everyone when the announcement was made that Tua was going to be made the starter, because Fitzpatrick had a really excellent start to the 2020 season, and it shocked many. So do you think if he were to come here that he is an upgrade from Cam Newton?
I think he might be a slight upgrade just in the fact that Fitzpatrick is one of those quarterbacks, I would say, that's a little bit more comfortable standing in the pocket and reading the full field and understanding coverage rotations and maybe getting the ball out on time a little bit more. But he is a risk taker. He's a gunslinger. He's not a guy that is necessarily, as we saw in that game last week where he's got his head getting pulled off and you can't even see where he's throwing the football, but he slings it anyway out there, and it worked out, and sometimes it does work out, but sometimes it can lead to a lot of turnovers. But Fitzpatrick is one of those quarterbacks that's really smart with when he throws interceptions. I know that sounds crazy, but he usually only throws interceptions when they're down, when he needs to make a play down the field, when they need to kind of push the ball. And there's instances where there's plenty of times where Fitzpatrick is a little bit more conservative when the score is closer and he doesn't want to give it up. He is an unrestricted free agent this offseason. His cap hits these last 2 years, 2-year, $11 million deal with the Dolphins. That's not a ton of money to bring Ryan Fitzpatrick in here. From a logistical standpoint, you bring him in as that veteran bridge, as that leader in that quarterback room too. He's got a ton of experience with a ton of different teams. This one's the only one, I would say, out of this tier group of quarterbacks that we're going to talk about where I could talk myself into this being a better bet than Cam Newton in 2021.
Yeah, Patriots Press Pass is presented by the Legends brand. Visit thelegendsbrand.com/Horford and use the promo code Horford20 to get 20% off your next purchase. That's thelegendsbrand.com/Horford using the promo code Horford20 in all caps. Now, do you think that Ryan Fitzpatrick is a good fit for New England?
Not particularly, because of some of the reasons why I mentioned about his gunslinger mentality. This is a guy that just lets it rip. He doesn't care. And sometimes that's great because you need that in the NFL. Open in the NFL is different than in college. It's different than in the other levels of football. Sometimes open means just a little bit of separation, and you need a quarterback that's willing to throw into tight windows. And Ryan Fitzpatrick will certainly do that. But I do think that ideally he fits a scheme that's a little bit more vertical in style. He wants to push the ball down the field. So the Miami Dolphins with Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki and some of their weapons was a pretty good fit for him. But there is the angle to this that in 2019, Ryan Fitzpatrick worked under Chad O'Shea, the former Patriots offensive assistant, who was offensive coordinator for the Dolphins in 2019. So he does have some experience in the Patriots system, or something that is like the Patriots system. So it wouldn't be completely foreign to him. Like I said, this one you can talk yourself into. This isn't a situation where you can, we're completely coming out of left field with something that's totally impossible, or a guy that's a completely terrible fit here or something like that. This one does make some sense on paper. I just don't know if Fitzpatrick is in a position where he's just kind of prepared to know that he's in this limbo area where he could just be replaced by some rookie the Patriots draft, just like he was in Miami with Tua Tagovailoa. I think that they're at the stage of Ryan Fitzpatrick's career now where he probably should come to terms with the fact that he's not going to get the keys handed to him to any franchise. So he's going to be sort of that veteran mentor, leader, bridge quarterback option for any team that he goes to at this point.
Yeah, and with everything that you just mentioned, is it even worth it to switch from Cam to him?
That's the biggest question, right? Is it even worth it? And how many wins are you really going to net with Fitzpatrick under center versus what you would win with Cam? And that's my biggest fear with a move like Fitzpatrick, is getting caught in NFL purgatory, where you're not a 4-12 football team picking in the top 5, and you're not a playoff team either. You're an 8-8 team, because right now they're going to go 6-10, 7-9, something like that with Cam Newton. Maybe Fitzpatrick gives you 1 win more, 2 wins more, but he's not the difference between them being a Super Bowl contender and not being a Super Bowl contender like they were with Cam this season. So really, I think it's going to be more of the same, whether it's Fitzpatrick or Cam. But from an aesthetic standpoint, from an enjoyment standpoint, the passing game might be a little bit more lively with a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick. So if you're a fan, I understand that maybe you're sick of seeing Cam out there and you just want to see something different, and Fitzpatrick would definitely be something different. So from that standpoint, it would be a little bit more exciting maybe to follow next season. But at the same time, from the bottom line perspective, you're talking about in the margins here of a guy that at most is bringing 1 or 2 more wins than Cam Newton gave you this season.
Absolutely. Different doesn't necessarily mean better. For all of our Patriots coverage, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.